Alright. Let's do it.
Hello, I'm Gary.
The
How
what?
do you do, officer?
Is that like when you do all of your... Is that like when you do all of your transactions in Bitcoin? Because your organization got thrown off of PayPal for white supremacy?
Yellow man. I mean, officer.
Ellipsis, that wasn't a dog whistle. That was like a loud gunshot into the air. Everyone heard that. Okay.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. That sounds awfully familiar. Something to keep in mind for later.
Oh god, it's his mug.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Okay, so this guy is Morel, and he's Lena's husband. So that means that he's not necessarily the crypto-fascist, but he does hang out with one, which somewhat implicates him. So, what, you don't love the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
That's my peeps.
Dark times will do that to good men.
Do you know anything about the man hanging behind the whirling in rags?
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
Of course he's bootlicking the cops.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. That's all.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange.
You were surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail. I meant no offense, truly.
You called him Yellow Man!
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one?
I can't believe he brought it back! Yup.
Well, this is that racist.
Yep. I don't know, I like the previous races better.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact.
The lieutenant is a native of Revachol.
Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. Let's change the subject. Okay?
Is this your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
This backpedaling is so, like... Okay. So, what is happening here is, like, the man looked up from the ground and, like, the N-word just poured out of his mouth as, like, as a reaction. Just like, bleh, immediately. Like, the slur just, like, appeared out of his mouth. Because that was just, like, the primal mental reaction to seeing someone of a different race. It's just like, slur! And he has spent the entire conversation up to this point telling me that he has no problem with black people and some of his friends are black. That is the equivalent to what's happening here.
His eyes widen at the sight of the mug. He's seen it before, all right.
I can see you recognize it. I literally can read it in your eyes.
I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. That's all.
Just admit you put the mug in the trash container behind the whirling.
Maybe. Okay. Yes, I did. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer. You're not going to find me, are you?
No, that's not what I'm here for. Though I could shake him down for money right now. But we're good. I got a place I can stay for free on the coast. It's no big deal. I want information. And also to shame the fuck out of you.
Whew. Thank you. You won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my garbage ever again.
Right, let's talk about that being at a murder scene.
I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
Not a racist, but...
What did you do, Gary?
Oh my god, he's Crocodile Dundee.
Nothing. Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
How'd you get into the trash container?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Why would you need to do that?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Bohemians run it like a mob.
Every single word that he has said, every single line of dialogue he has had since I'm not a racist has been blaming something on a race of people.
I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
God damn it, I should have shook him down for money and information.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim who was behind the whirling and rags into that trash container?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
Please explain.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Uh-huh, what happened?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where?
Oh, the armor. You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
This guy sucks at lying.
There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
What's that sound?
What sound?
You know what I'm talking about.
I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby.
Every day, the wind shifts the reeds and whatever was left in them. Tambourines and condom wrappers, plastic and glass bottles. The smell of decay. The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned.
Let's move on for now.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
Oh, we're getting this. Are you a cryptozoologist?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
There probably is a follow-up to this, but you can't think of any. Doesn't matter. Waste of time anyway. Gotta keep moving.
All right, let's run this and I'll re-roll it if I have to.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
Something worn underneath it?
Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles. Stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
Uh-huh. I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
Okay.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
Why did you really put those clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner.
This.
They all say he wasn't from here.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
Yeah, none of that. Why did you lie?
Because I was weak.
Oh my
I should have
god.
told you the moment I saw you.
But instead you wanted to get away with it.
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
Give me the armor.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat. But so light to hold, like a bag of cotton.
Do you know who killed the hangman?
I always thought it was the Union. Some union hardasses lynched him because of the strike. But almost everyone in town knows that. I wish I could tell you more.
Are we done here?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
Thank you for your cooperation, I guess. I wish I'd taken your money. Christ. He gave me armor. -1 empathy. Yeah, you know what? He gave me armor. He would have given me money if I had not been an idiot. I thought, like, okay. I thought that we were choosing between money and information. And of the two, I wanted information more than money. But as we went through that, I was like, they wouldn't have locked all of this behind just asking him for $50. So I should have just shook him down.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
I'm so tired.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
You must be Morel.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Lena sent me. She's been worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the A81.
Yeah, that was me. I broke it with my motor carriage, but it fixed. You can go back.
You broke the water lock with a motor carriage? There was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
No, it was me. You can return now.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work.
Did you know Gary was hiding the armor?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
He was like nothing but dishonest the entire time.
Thanks.
Alright, tell me about the phasmid.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it difficult to find?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there?
Do you think, like, right about this point, Kim, like, closes his eyes so that he can roll his eyes without being, like, seen? He just kind of, like, disguises it as, like, a long blink. And then just, like, barely audibly just kind of, like, heavy sighs.
And I suspect it may have also developed other specialized techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case.
What sorts of specialized techniques is the phasmid used to hide itself?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolve, without studying a live specimen.
How big is the phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
Seems puny, to be honest.
That phasmid sounds like a bitch. Why are you so interested in the stick bug?
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of my, of any, cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
Would be glory itself.
What have you discovered about it so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
Uh-huh. So no one's ever found one.
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
Because...
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Lena said there's been a sighting of it in Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe it's dead.
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
Man, the failures are so good.
Yes, the females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
That's pretty clever.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a
Have a good night,
scientist,
Ark. We're
I'll
done
try
after
my
this
best to
conversation
remain
anyway, so
dispassionate.
not missing too much.
There's nothing dispassionate about the way he talks about the insect.
All right, tell me about the traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Oh, she designed them.
Yes,
Oh, okay. How do they work?
simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
So what are you using as bait? You mentioned locusts?
Locusts.
Yeah, okay.
Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm.
What if they don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, with the assumption that there is anything to be caught by them. Let me ask you about something
Yes.
else.
What?
Your wife wants you to go home.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
I didn't know this was so important to her.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
She's seen it.
She didn't tell me that.
Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
You sound like you're getting sick. Maybe you go, like, warm up and get a good night's sleep and then come back and check the traps later?
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
What? No, wait, no. What if we check the traps?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Chaos. Fucking chaos.
Well, be that as it may, I'd really appreciate the help.
So what do I do if there's a phasmid?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
Where are the traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them, you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
That seemed like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
Are you not having fun?
Even relative to examining a week-old corpse, I'm not sure mucking about in the reeds qualifies as fun. But have it your way, detective.
Kim, you are far too accommodating, honestly. What if I encounter it in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed.
I don't like that.
Did you hear that? Pheromones. You were right about the teenagers.
So it was the phasmid that made the teenagers make out.
I doubt there is any connection there. Anyway, these pheromones will attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Should last you about a week.
Lay it on me thick.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. It dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
Alright, let's get to it, I guess.
Right. Which means you two can pack up and go back to the boiling.
Yeah, literally just go home.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
How did you become a
I've
cryptozoologist?
just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
You know what I do? I play La Mulana and have a dog. Have you ever discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
So how many cryptids have been found?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes.
And how many have been found?
2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
So the hoax to real ratio is hitting a solid 1,000 to 1.
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Hugo Grad, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
You know, at least he's not, like, delusional about it. 2 out of 4,000 is not even 1/10 of 1%.
In fact, it is 0.05%. Ever more magnificent, should our search contribute to making that number 0.075%.
Sounds like you're living the dream.
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
Why wouldn't you just be a zoologist for real animals?
Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
I mean, yes, but it's a hell of a lot better than being a crypto-fascist.
My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
Yeah, life surprises are mostly miserable.
Agreed. Yet there is always a chance, albeit a small one, of a truly good surprise. One simply needs to look at the history of science. Serendipities abound.
Has anything truly surprising happened to you?
No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close.
Oh, there was more.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
What kinds of evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
So, just random unsubstantiated accounts. Cool.
Yes?
Let's talk about specific cryptids.
All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what.
You need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena, or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
All right. So, here's the thing about Morel. Like, the fact that it's bullshit and that he kind of low-key knows that it's bullshit, but he's like, but what if, though? Yeah, most of them are bullshit, but, like, if one of them turns out to be real, it's the fucking discovery of the century. I can't hate on that. Like, that's a very reasonable thought process. Is like, you know, let's just hang out and just follow every lead and see if we can find some new shit. Like knowing that they're, like, most of them are fake, but, like, hey, maybe they're not all fake. Once in a while, we'll hit one that's real, and that'll be really cool. he's not, like, deeply delusional. Which crypt did you almost catch?
A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialist would find rather dull.
Alright, I just praised you for, like, your relative grasp on reality. So be careful. What are willow people?
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here.
Okay, so what really kills that whole thing is how you, like, make up a story about all of these features of this all the features of this creature that, like, are unrealistic. Like, the two that you found were like, oh yeah, okay, you essentially have discovered an extinct species of ape and an unremarkable type of cave salamander. Like, you can just be looking for new species of things without them being like, oh yeah, so this thing is like, this creature is literally just radio waves. And this one is like a weird paper sheet creature.
You probably have.
How did you almost catch it?
Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself.
Uh-huh.
After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow dashing through the grove.
And then?
I chased it with a net. Not very elegant. You can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me.
A lavender shadow.
I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined.
Again, he's not entirely wrong.
Furthermore, I'm not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic.
Lena sighted the phasmid?
Confirmed. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting.
I know about the kind green ape.
I see you've been talking about cryptids with Lena. The kind green ape is one of her favourites. We travelled to South Safra to look for it once. Gary and I got stuck in a rainstorm though, and had to spend most of our time there in a little village. The search was fabulously unsuccessful, but the people were very nice. I'm glad they didn't understand what Gary was saying about them.
Why do you hang out with this man?
What? South Safra? They're just on a different rung of the ladder, Morel. I had no problem with them.
All right.
Really? You kept complaining about how dirty everything is, but we digress.
We digress.
They're a nascent culture. I just didn't feel comfortable. And let's change the topic, okay? Talk about your critters, or whatever.
Throw him into the ocean. Throw him into the ocean. Let's talk about the gnome of whatever.
Formerly the most dangerous, yes. But do you know the most dangerous living cryptid?
Let me try to guess.
Believe me, you won't guess it. You either know or you don't.
Well, I guess I don't.
The most dangerous cryptid is a carnivorous ruminant, known colloquially as the Dread Moose.
That sounds metal as shit. Yo, I hope the Dread Moose is real. Let's go.
Yes, the Dread Moose subsists entirely on flesh. It has even been known to dig up fresh graves in search of sustenance.
What does it look like?
Just like an ordinary ardent moose.
Then how do you know if it's...
You can't. That's what makes it so dreadful and hard to identify.
So it's just a violent moose. I don't know about this, man.
The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. There's more.
What?
The recent surge in the moose population.
That's...
As hidden carnivores, the Dread Moose are effectively removing competition for both themselves and their evolutionary cousins.
Why would it need to...
Moose are already being hunted for sport. Can you imagine what would happen if they came to be viewed as predators?
Literally nothing different? What is the relationship between carnivorous moose and regular tree-eating moose?
The carnivorous moose are a very young species, the result of a genetic mutation that fared well in the process of natural selection. It makes sense that such a majestic animal with natural weapons, antlers, would come to rule the forest. The only strange thing is that it took so long.
Are there any reliable eyewitness accounts of a moose killing other animals for food?
One slaughterhouse at the outskirts of the woods in Vasa reported that its staff kept seeing moose in the distance.
Uh-huh.
The moose would just stare at the building, as though they were waiting for something. Its eyes bloodshot and full of cruelty.
Okay. And?
But that's not all. Some of the slaughterhouse apprentices went hiking by a nearby creek and saw a moose nibbling on an unidentified carcass.
Maybe you should have identified it.
This isn't something unique. Various species of deer have been known to scavenge when plant food is scarce.
Anyway, there is more than enough evidence to justify a thorough search for the Dread Moose. Let's close the subject before it turns into an argument.
I think I know better than to argue. Alright, what is about the big giant thing? The mountain. The thing that's just a mountain. It's just a mountain.
That's impressive, I guess. But have you seen it with your own eyes?
Have you?
I haven't had a chance to travel to Coco North. No. And I likely never will. The Samaskill desert region has been embroiled in a small civil war for the last 8 years. I fear this mindless barbarism may have wiped out the elusive creature entirely. Sightings of towering luminosities have grown rare recently, while they once used to be constant.
I know about Cryobacter catlensis.
Oh, everyone knows about that one, thanks to Professor Mijanu being the talk of the town for a time.
A bit of jealousy there. He'd want that glory, truth be told, even if he'd have to inject himself with bacteria to get it.
Although, probably because her life ended as a result of her work in Gutler, no one remembers her contributions to the search for the Nongok.
What is that thing?
A flightless cursor owl found in the Seminine Isles. Its long legs permit the Nongok to run faster than any other avian. Perhaps any other animal. Who knows?
Who knows? Who could say?
When it's not hunting its prey in this manner, the Ock hangs from tree branches, like a bat, waiting to dive on hapless prey below on the jungle floor. Mijanu liked extreme animals, you see. One of the few figures of the academic establishment I respect. Really a shame she disappeared.
When did she disappear and under what circumstances?
Oh, decades ago. In the 30s. I didn't know her personally, of course. The chasm of academic pretension still stood before us, even though she had unusual courage for someone from the other side.
You just tell me about a cool cryptid.
No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed.
We've been talking for 45
I don't make
minutes.
a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence.
Persistence. Let's change the subject.
By all means.
All right, I'm out of here. These two conversations removed all of the rest of my energy.